Hi everybody, Gary Francione for the Abolitionist Approach. Here's my co-host, Duncan. Okay. Today, Duncan and I would like to talk with you about reducetarianism, which is a really problematic position. And the reducetarian position says that we ought to be advocating that people reduce animal exploitation rather than talking with them about being vegan, because the latter is simply not realistic, and that really, people are not going to, they're not going to become vegans. They're more likely to give up some consumption of animal products, and so that's what we ought to encourage them to do. And in response to the criticism that isn't going far enough, they say, well, it really is the same, because, and they use examples like the following. They say, let's assume you've got 8 people and 7 of them give up consuming animal products for 1 day a week, and the 8th becomes a vegan. It's the same, because 7 of them 1 day a week, the 8th person all 7 days, so it's the same. The answer is no, it's not. Because first of all, you'd have to assume that these people are all consuming the same amount of animal products. You'd also have to assume that the people who are not consuming animal products 1 day a week will do that consistently. But even if you make those assumptions, and that's not likely to be the case, because people who are not ethical vegans oftentimes don't stay with their behavior. So somebody who gives up eating animal products 1 day a week and isn't convinced of the immorality of eating animal products altogether is not likely to continue that behavior. But let's assume that they do. Is it the same? And the answer is no, because the 7 people who are not eating animal products 1 day a week are doing nothing to change the paradigm, because they're continuing to engage in the harm the other 6 days a week. So they're not doing anything to change the paradigm. They're not doing anything to shift our thinking from animals as property to animals as non-human persons. Whereas the person who becomes a vegan is doing something to shift that paradigm. And in addition to not eating animal products, ethical veganism is more than just not eating animal products. It's not eating them, wearing them, using animals. So that person is going to be doing a lot more than not just eating animal products, and that person is going to be contributing to a paradigm shift. Think about this in the context of human rights violations. Let's assume we have 8 people, all of whom are misogynists. Is it the same to say, well, if 7 of them give up acting in a sexist, misogynistic, obnoxious way 1 day a week, that's the same as somebody who embraces equality and rejects sexism, patriarchy, and misogyny? The answer is no, of course not. And you have 8 people, and 7 of them give up being racists 1 day a week. The 8th embraces equality and says, I believe in equality. I'm not going to engage in racism. Are those two situations equivalent? The answer is no, because in the situation where people are doing it 1 day a week, they're not doing anything to change our thinking about the issues. They're not doing anything to shift the paradigm. They're not doing anything to establish equality as the prevailing paradigm rather than as racism or sexism as the prevailing paradigm. So the same thing with animals. I mean, it's the exact same thing. Somebody who's giving it up 1 day a week is doing nothing to change the paradigm. Somebody who's doing it all the time and is incorporating the principles of veganism into their daily lives, not just a question of eating, but they're not wearing, they're not using, and they're helping to change thinking about the issue. So it's not the same thing. I understand the appeal of the reducetarian position from a fundraising point of view is that you can tell people that they can continue to consume animal products as long as they reduce the quantity. They're behaving, they're discharging their moral obligations to animals. I think that's nonsense. I think reducetarianism is intellectually vacuous and morally bankrupt. And anyway, so Duncan and I want to encourage you to visit the website howdoigovegan.com. And Duncan wants to sign off, and he also wants to say, Duncan, do you think that what do you think of reducetarianism? He's not happy about that at all. In any event, thank you very much for listening, and howdoigovegan.com is the website. Thank you. Bye.